I had an amazing day today, and all I did was really just show up. Hi, everybody. Kevin Barhyde here. Thanks for tuning in. This afternoon, I got together on a Sunday afternoon in Central Park in the Rose Garden with my friend Omar, and we just sat by the lake chatting. A professor came by that Omar had when he was in school and had been a friend of his dad who has passed away. We talked for 20 minutes. And we spent some time walking around the park, just the two of us, Omar and I later. And we thought about what the professor had talked to us about. He said, he had had some health problems and he was taking Tylenol and he was taking Advil and he was taking a leave. And he was trying to get to the point where he could feel better. And it wasn't working. And he realized, and he taught us this today, that he was trying to take a straight line. Take a pill, feel better. Take another pill, feel better. Take this pill, feel better. Do this, get where I want to go. And he realized he needed to stop and think about taking an alternate route. And he called it the Zig Zag. And Omar and I kept thinking about, well, are we zigging or are we zagging? Are we taking a straight route here? And we realized our whole day was one big zig and one big zag. And as we walked around the park, we thought about some other parts of our lives, all the history Omar and I had together. And some of them were really wonderful and very powerful. And I so miss the days when we first knew each other and we had all those times to grow and learn about each other. But we have this now. We have this time in the park. And as we got around to the other side of the park, I hadn't been thinking about it, but we walked up on the Nike basketball courts that had been fixed up probably 25 years ago. And the reason I stopped there was to tell Omar a different story. Because 10 years ago right now, my dad was very sick and the 10th anniversary of his passing is in a few days. And 10 years ago, I sat by his side and I sat there with peace and I sat there with confidence that he and I had become the best father and son to each other that we could. And I talked to Omar today about how it wasn't always like that. In the early days when my dad was young and I was a child, he got ill. And then as I got older, my drugs and the alcohol and the addiction took over and my life zigzagged in all the wrong ways. And my dad's life zigzagged down and spiraled. But by the time I had been clean and sober and in recovery for quite a few years, my dad was probably 68, 69 years old. I came up for the holidays. I told my mom and dad that I wanted to play basketball with my dad. And they all laughed because I had my old basketball that I had in the basement. I dusted it off and I put some air in it and I got it bouncing in the garage. And they said, Dad can't play basketball. I said, no, we're going to go play basketball today. And I got him in the car and I told Omar, we came here and we parked. My dad had grown up here and had played when he was a kid. We hadn't been there for a long time. And we got up to the basketball court today and I showed Omar the actual hoop, the actual court that we played on. And you see, my dad, he didn't really know what to do because he didn't have the physical strength, but I showed him. I said, Dad, I just want to show you how I can shoot. And I threw a few baskets. He goes, Dad, it's pretty good, but do it this way. And I said, oh, great. And I said, let me show you how I do a layup. And so I did a couple layups. And he said, yeah, that's pretty good. I said, you try. He said, no, I can't do it. I said, no, go ahead and try. But then he looked at me and he said, give me the ball. And he told me to do a layup and he passed me the ball and I did a layup. And he said, no, do it this way. And he passed me the ball again and he did a layup. See, he couldn't shoot it up, but he could pass it to me down. And we did that for about 10 minutes and then we drove home. Didn't fix our whole past. Didn't make everything right. But we had that time together. We had that we could make happen together. In that day, in that moment, when I could have just stayed home and we could have just had the Thanksgiving or Easter dinner, whichever one it was, we zigged and we zagged. We did things we had never done before and we didn't even think we could do. And we became closer as father and son. And we began to heal. You see, all day, all that Omar and I and the professor and everyone, my dad, when he was here, all we did was we kept showing up. We showed up to be the best we could be. And that's all I kept doing today was showing up. And when I got home, I showed up one more time. And I didn't even know what was going to happen. I got a text message from Joe and Joe said to me, Kevin, did you get the package? And I said, what package? He said, check outside your front door. I looked, I said, there's no package. He said, check your mailbox. And I went to the mailbox. And I opened the box that was in the mailbox. And I pulled out this note. I thought every writer needs a good pen to sign their books. I am proud of you and I love you. Joe. And Joe had sent me this beautiful fountain pen. And as I opened it and I stood by the mailbox looking at it, I said, how do you do this? How do you take the cap off something like this? Because once you take the cap off, you can't put it back on. You got to go forward. You got to zig and you got to zag. And I realized you do it with love. You do it with your father's love. You do it with your friend Omar's love. You do it with Joe's love. And you do it with your own love for yourself. I'm really grateful that I spent the time today with Omar, and I'm really grateful I spent the time today with Joe. And more than anything else, I'm really grateful that I spent the day today thinking of my father and the special time that we had together and all the memories that I had with him and all the wonderful memories I can continue to have of him. And today, without even knowing it, the memory of my father has now been passed on to Omar. And the memory of this pen will stay with me for the rest of my life. I hope you're having some uplifting times, but remember to zig and zag. Remember, if you're going in a straight line and it doesn't feel like it's the Advil or the Tylenol or the Aleve that's helping, stop and take a breath and try something else. Just go in a different direction and see where that takes you. And trust that the zigs and the zags are exactly the way we're supposed to be going. Thanks for taking the time. Please make sure you like this video. Please make sure to comment below. Tell me what you're interested in, and I'm going to warn you about one thing. This is the last video of this kind I'm going to do for about a month. You're going to see something different over the next few weeks. I hope you'll tune in. I'll see you then. Take care.